Mhm. Hello again, neighbor. There are things that we don't talk about in our communities because at some point we said, or we started believing, that it was shameful to talk about them. And I don't know exactly where that came from. I think some of it comes from people committing those acts and then projecting onto us, the rest of us. What their ideas of right and wrong are. But I think that a part of it just comes from us agreeing to that EULA, or that terms of service, agreeing to that agreement, making agreements with ideas of shame. And it's best not to make those agreements with shame or to feel shame toward any natural part of our existence. A moment ago, I mentioned people spewing, or just people committing those acts. And it doesn't have to be, like, those words, they have a negative connotation. People committing the acts which they deem shameful and then projecting them outward. It doesn't have to be a negative, like, I don't want to look at them negatively. I think a part of it is that when we as a people, no, a part of it is just when when we accept shame, we degrade ourselves. And when we degrade ourselves, it only makes us smaller. Whereas when a person honors themselves, or when they're honored by others, when the universe bestows honor, when God bestows honor, when there's some sort of dignity shown, all that we can do then is to either accept that and walk in that, or degrade ourselves. I was in the park a little while ago, downtown, and I've been there for at least a week now, just back and forth, going from place to place, and that park has just sort of been the place that I've parked my car and sat, and spent a lot of time, and I spent one night there. And I had good reason to do that because my car had a flat tire. Here's a little toady. Little toady. I used to be obsessed with those. Me and my brothers used to be obsessed with those as kids. And yeah, so I've just been parking there for quite a while. Or I don't know, I've been making an appearance there for quite a while. And it doesn't really get much like police activity, I guess. I haven't seen very many like police patrolling the area. But today, a police car drove past my car and very like obviously slowed down to like look in the window, probably check to see if I'm all right. Maybe they got a call or something, or but the thing is I don't like having to justify I don't like having to justify the existence of people patrolling the streets. I've heard all of the stories as it pertains to why the police exist and the harm they've done and the good they've done. And it says something about the police that they carry pew-pews. It says something about our system of government that they carry around deadly arms. And I didn't feel that I was in any danger. But I know that some do. If I'm looking at it from a wholesome perspective, or a more utopian perspective, I mean, yeah, they're there to see if things are all right. They're there to protect and to be there when there's an issue. But just the very fact that there are issues is the reason that an outside force or an outside party comes into a situation. And we don't live in a utopia. I know that. There will be no patrolling. There will be no police patrol in the great utopia. After all of this, there will be no police in paradise. And I'm thinking about, well, what if I do get that knock on my my window, and I'm asked to move along, and I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I mean, I can move along. But in many ways that just says, like, what I've been ragging against for a long time. Like, no human is illegal. No person's presence is wrong to be in the place that it is. And I understand, like, I don't know. I've heard all the legalese, but my head's so far away, or it's so far removed. It's my head is up in the clouds to the point where, like, it's a strange time that we live in. It's a strange culture that we've developed, and it's a culture that's not developed by the common man or the common woman. It's a culture that's created by the people who want to control others and police others' behavior. And the kingdom of heaven doesn't operate like that. And I don't know what an officer is thinking about when he patrols the park and drives past my car. My hope is that he's just checking he or she is just checking on, like, to see if everything's all right. Hey, we've noticed this car down in the park, and I've gotten pulled over before, and I used to be just terrified of just whatever it is that they're going to cite me for, or like just terrified of these officers. Now I just sort of accept it. If they think that I've done something wrong, then I guess, yeah, I'm gonna be paying a bill. But I'm also going to, in my personal thoughts, in my heart of hearts, I'm gonna say, yeah, I guess you're, I don't know. I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm blameless. I didn't know, or how, I don't know. We live in a culture where there are hundreds of hoops to jump through. And when someone doesn't want to jump through those hoops, they end up in places that the people who did jump through those hoops find very weird and strange. Just the idea, yeah, it's there. It's it's just hard to tell what the world is. It's hard to tell what all of this is. Because I understand. I've heard all of the stories of the systemic issues and the histories and the hopes and the dreams, the ideas of what a city can be, what a nation can be, the idealized versions of a police force. Just the idea, or just the fact that it's called a force. That doesn't sit well with me. Because I feel that any force that is implied or twisted or coerced, or that is an abuse. Some would say it's an abuse of power, but really it doesn't even work like that. It's because they have no power unless it is given. I don't know. This would probably be the subject of my entire life. Just the ideas of power, the ideas of our own power, the ideas of what sovereignty looks like, and the hopes of what a utopia, of what paradise might look like. I think about all of the elk in Yellowstone, just chilling. I spent about a year in that area, and I think about the the uh, the elk just laying on the ground, like chilling, getting up when they need to eat grass, or getting up when they need a drink of water, and they're just living the life. They don't know that there's anything other or anything different. And all of their needs, they're there. They don't live in a state of worry or anxiety. And I guess that's what I picture the paradise being. Like, there's just an ease to whatever life it is that the elk have. And what does that look like for human beings? Because we're not that far removed from any other mammal on Earth. I mean, we're just mammals, and many have related us to apes, but at the same time, we're different than the apes, and we've got some sort of there's a whole rabbit hole I could go down into with this. My faith tradition says that we were made in the likeness of God. And so I think some of that would probably mean, or something of that would mean, that there is a difference between ape and humanity. But something went wrong. And we no longer live like the animals do. And we construct houses I mean, I don't know. I guess beavers construct houses, and but we are very different, and we're very destructive, and we don't live on the land in harmony with it. And that's disheartening, especially when it comes to just a scale as massive as what it is right now, where we've invented empires and corporate empires and nation-state empires and monarchies, and the hope is that we're moving away from that in some way. the hope is that there's some sort of progression in our ethics and our mortality and our, like, but I don't know if I don't know if that's true. Um, I hope it's true in some way. But it's oh, it would seem that the kingdom of heaven is always taking place. The kingdom of heaven has always arrived. It's always been here. It's just that we get caught up in the empires of this world and the empires of this life. And the kingdom of heaven would have us say, all of those empires, they're finished. All of those immoral ways of being in the world, they're just dust in the wind. And their time has come. Their time has arrived. And it's gone the way of history. And so it just seems sad to me that the kingdom of heaven exists just in a state of living a disarrayed life, being hungry and thirsty and not having enough, and having food locked behind a paywall, and having people patrol the streets, other people thinking that they're different or somehow other than the rest of people. People taking power over another and not living in harmony. Not even knowing how to see the harmony or the disarray that we find ourselves in. That we're unable to find ourselves in. There's just so much disarray. There's so much just misunderstanding going on, to the point where I spend a few days in the park in my car, practically homeless, and I feel that my presence isn't wanted, and that I need to move along, even having not been spoken to. I wasn't pulled over or anything like that. But I moved along. It felt like, yeah, even if someone else is in the wrong here, it's good for me to just move along home. And Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Be well and be wise. Peace.